Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table with Setco Services. In this podcast, we delve into the world of real estate and explore what happens beyond the closing table. Join us for insightful discussions and expert interviews that will change the way you see real estate transactions. Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table with George Brandon Jr., sponsored by Setco Services. Today, I have my friend John Martin. Welcome, John.
Thank you, George. Thank you for having me.
Fellow Ole Miss guy.
Yes.
Also a realtor, lead of the John Martin real estate team.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that sales part. I want to get a little background of how you got there. So where'd you grow up, John Martin?
Grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi.
God bless you.
Born and raised. Great
Good old Southern boy.
Yeah. The great state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
As Faulkner, I think, said that you can't begin to understand the world until you first understand Mississippi.
How about that? I like that.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a small state. Essentially, everybody there knows somebody that knows, just takes a few seconds to find mutual friends.
The family trees don't branch out that far.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No.
Well, I grew up right north of there. I was a stone's throw away from the line, but ended up in school
Memphis, Tennessee.
Funny side note, I was watching Kill Tony last night. Podcast, but more kind of video now, a comedy. And there was this guy from Fulton, Mississippi, outside of Tupelo that came on. And they talked to him for like 25 minutes. He had the Southern drawl and everything. It ended up being a really good interview, but ended up bringing his wife up there because it was her birthday and he brought her out there. It was just neat, but they got into the culture of Mississippi in a comedic way. It was pretty interesting. So I adore Mississippi folks.
Me too.
Yeah, it was a good place to grow up.
Yep.
Yeah. How was your upbringing?
Good. It was a little, Gulfport's really, really more, the whole coast is really more like kind of New Orleans to Mobile. I always have often said that really should be a state. Because
it's different once you get,
Yeah, because it's the people there are a lot alike, just in terms of the food, and we have Mardi Gras, things like that. So it's a very similar group, but it was a good upbringing.
Does Gulfport have a big Mardi Gras?
Yeah, it's old. I mean, Biloxi has probably the oldest on the coast, but they're great parades, and people are really into it for sure.
It's crazy how many people come out, and I guess all of them, but I do the New Orleans one, and it's thousands, and it amazes me every year how many people line those streets.
Yeah,
it's for beads and stuffed animals.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of funny. You're like, but
it's a good time.
But it's good. Grew up doing a lot on the water, a lot of sailing, offshore sailing. Both smaller boats and bigger boats.
You're a sailor.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
And I hadn't done as much of it lately since I've been here in the Emerald Coast. And a lot of that's just my life and the time and things like that. But
when you're chasing little kids around, it kind of takes away from your water time sometimes. Or it's different. How about that?
Yeah.
I get it. So you played any sports growing up?
Played a lot of tennis, George. Tennis was my big sport.
Right.
And
you kind of have that John McEnroe look about you. I bet you had a better attitude on the court, though.
Yeah, I didn't have
You didn't throw your racket or anything?
No. I thought about it a lot. I thought about it, George. No, but played tennis. That was kind of my competitive sport in high school.
Love it.
And then did sailing, competitive sailing.
So they had that in Gulfport, your high school?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really the high school, it was the yacht clubs.
Okay.
We remember Gulfport Yacht Club, but there's, I'm at about a dozen yacht clubs down there on the coast. So we all sailed competitively.
Did you start in one of those little bitty boats?
Yeah, I didn't, thank goodness. Like the bathtub. No, those Optimus dinghies. Yeah, those are the worst. But no,
I've
sales.
seen like 12 of them, coming
Yeah,
out. And
no,
I
that's
have to
horrible.
slow down. That's why I don't like them.
Very, very distract. Yeah, yeah. But did that. It just a lot of boating in general, and just
Gotcha.
enjoyed that. And that was a big part of what brought us back here, it's just to be in this community, all the
Sure.
water, the
Oh, yeah.
golf, love the golf.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
Do you have aspirations to get back into sailing?
Maybe for leisure, one day, go sail, through the Caribbean, and you have aspirations to do that, on those.
I feel like if you're going to be on a sailboat or do something like that, and truly enjoy it. You can do a 7-day trip or whatever with a captain, but like you really have nowhere to be, like because you're relying on God and wind,
Yeah.
or His wind,
Yeah.
if you will, to get you from place
Yeah.
to place. Especially if you're on a Benito or something with
Yeah.
a little bitty engine on it.
Yeah.
You're relying on wind.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I'm a
Yeah.
powerboat guy.
Oh, yeah,
so
I know.
that's probably a selfish comment to some extent, but
I think I remember seeing you come in on your boat one time. We were on a open fisherman, and I saw you coming. I was like, "Oh gosh, here comes George."
Yep, I'm gonna wake
that big
everybody out. So, all right, what boating and tennis in high
Yeah.
school? Did you feel like you excelled in tennis?
I did well. Yeah, I was, played number one for my high school slot. Went to the state championships multiple times. I was good. I wasn't like the top in the state, but it's probably, in the top quartile.
Okay.
And then I went to Ole Miss.
What made you pick Ole Miss?
Just a lot of my friends went there.
Yeah.
A lot of friends and
Just a thing to do.
And family had gone there. A lot of family gone, my dad and his dad, and they all went there. I went to business school, went to a few family members, went to law school there. So
way more responsible than my answer, which is just the girls.
Just the girls.
Anyway.
Well, that was part of it too. Yeah. A lot of beautiful girls for sure. So that was definitely a big part. And just,
what were you wanting to do when you went to college?
I was in business.
Okay.
Very focused on doing investments. My dad had done that. So I was wanting to.
What kind of investment? What kind of investments does your dad do?
Brokerage. He was in the brokerage business. So I wanted to get into that and ultimately did.
So what type of sales?
Yeah,
kinda?
It was totally a sales back when
business brokerage,
investment, like investment about securities.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So that's what I did right out of college.
Okay. Did you go to work with your dad?
Initially, yeah, for a little while. And then I went to work for Merrill Lynch and Shearson Lehman Brothers and did that.
Now you're starting to show your age.
Exactly.
Talking about Lehman Brothers, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
No offense. I don't know who they are too, but.
Yeah. It was actually Smith Barney. It became Smith Barney.
Okay.
Worked for them.
Nice.
And
did you enjoy that?
I did in the beginning. It was a sales job. I was kind of fascinated to watch when I was in the office in Atlanta.
Okay, I was going to ask you where you were in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta.
Did you go directly there after school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was just fascinated to see these salesmen that would call up a doctor, like right in the middle of the doctor's doing a surgery, get the doctor on the phone and essentially convince them to buy a position in a stock, buy 100,000 shares or something. And I was sitting there going, that's like, back then that was, still a lot of money, but, and I would be like, God, wow, so.
I just got like a vision of you in like the Wolf of Wall Street pit. While everybody calling, was that where you started?
It was like that, yeah, back there. It was more, it wasn't totally like that, like it would be in New York City, but yeah, we had like a big cubicle area, and that's what you did. You got on the phone and you dialed, and you had to make a lot of phone calls. And
so this is intriguing to me because there's some of the I'd say more successful realtors in my mind. And I'm not, we've had a lot of diversity here as far as levels of people that have come on and not discounting anybody at all, but there still seems to be the phone is a skill, and you were forced, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were forced to learn how to develop that skill and live on it.
Yeah.
Is that correct in that
Yes.
era? Because you didn't have cell phones, you didn't have computers, you barely had email.
Yeah, you had to. It was all over the phone.
Yeah,
and you get people on the phone, and
to get a doctor out of surgery and sell him $500,000 of stock.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. No,
did they have development tools when you came in?
They did. You went through a training program, and but mostly, to be honest, the real development was just learning from other people. That were in the calling areas, just listening to them and developing a script, and even to this day, even in real estate, I tell people it's the same. You just got to make a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And just continue to make a lot of calls and follow up with people.
Yeah. I found myself focusing on that here just because I keep hearing it, and especially from people with success, and that the younger generation, and now I sound like the old man, they don't do it. I struggle getting some of our staff to pick up the phone at times. So, but they also haven't learned. They weren't forced in a position that you were of having to sell yourself or sell a product when that's all that was there.
Yeah.
You couldn't reach out to somebody on Facebook. So no offense, John, it didn't exist.
No.
So
I didn't. No. It's gotten a little more challenging now to do it because there's all the
phone
screening. When you're calling somebody,
right,
you don't know, and you're not in there.
I never pick up the phone unless I know who it is.
So it is.
Those damn robocalls now. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
I get like 5 calls a day for a business loan that I don't need, but I'm pre-approved for $500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But it's like it's constant. And we got a mutual friend that will pick up that phone and take that call and then proceed to wear them out, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. So were you married at this time? You dating? What are you doing over there in Atlanta? You just playing the single game?
I was married.
Did you get married out of college?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right. You met
married. Well, I had a first marriage.
Yeah.
So, and then married right out of college, lived in Atlanta, Georgia, enjoyed life as a young married couple there.
Mm-hmm. How was Atlanta?
It was good. Yeah, it was good, especially back then. It was big city, but not as big. Back then it was, 2.5 million people. It's 5 million now.
Yeah.
But so
were you like in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Like Buckhead area?
We started in Marietta, and then we were mostly in Buckhead.
Okay.
Yeah, and Braves fan, went to most of the Braves games.
Good Southern boy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Where'd the career take you? You were doing brokerage, selling stocks, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Where'd
they go from there?
Well, did that for a long time. Ended up starting my own brokerage firm.
Really?
It was called Webbridge Securities. And
why did you do that?
Well, it was in the .com boom.
Okay.
And I decided I wanted to go be a part of that and get into that. So we started a broker dealer that was really more of an investment bank. We were raising capital for .com startups.
Okay.
And we did that. We were kind of really rolling for a while, and had some really nice investments on paper, but they
tactful way to put it.
Yeah. It was a great experience, I'll say that, but ultimately that sector melted down like 90% back in 2000.
Yeah.
And that was the end. That was
So
we
was
were
this
done.
yeah, this, I mean, it's not funny but hey, you
was a good
survived it,
learning
right?
lesson.
Yeah, I'm sure. But was that considered kind of an early onset of like a VC? What is like, they use like a VC today?
It was
Venture
kind of
capital?
like a angel.
Yeah,
Essentially,
angel
what
investor.
we had an angel fund
Okay.
we put together. We invested in these companies, and then we also had an investment bank where we would raise additional capital.
And you started
These
all
go,
this?
yeah,
Do you have
yeah,
partners?
yeah. We have partners, and we were doing well. I mean, it was successful for a while, but like I said, that was
You just got
just
caught up in the bubble.
it was a big bubble that burst, and that wiped a lot of people out.
Oh yeah, I remember. I mean, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had the first business, but I was still in Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember. You one thing about it, I remember distinctly is bowl season football
Mm-hmm.
in college, and I guess pro to some extent, but not as much with college, where you'd have all these furnitureexpress.com, whatever.com bowl, whatever, there was like 10 bowls that were .com bowls. And then next year,
Yeah.
no one of those companies existed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
and it was, but, I mean, there's some people that really did well, that came out well. I think of like Mark Cuban. He had broadcast.com.
yeah.
That, we're in that, but,
Got out.
did really well. Yeah. But it was a good learning experience for me.
So did you just did you get crushed?
Yeah, we did, because we were investing in a lot of the real emerging, ones that were, early stage, which is the riskiest. But it was a great experience. I mean, got to connect with a lot of people, traveled all over the world, doing this. And
what do you mean by that? Why were you traveling all over the world?
Well, because the most of the companies that we were funding were all over.
Okay.
I mean, they were mostly in the U.S., but we were going to Europe as well, and it was a great experience. Getting to work with founders. I learned a lot about startups in that period. Working with startups, and got to meet a lot of great angel investors, and so I learned a ton about startup investing.
Okay.
And,
can you give me examples? Like, were you working hands on with them?
The biggest thing about it in startups is like most of them fail. Like 90+% of them fail. So
yeah,
so it's a very difficult thing to do. And the biggest thing that I learned is it's not as much about raising the money. There's a good bit of money out there. It's about getting the team of people that can execute that idea. So it's not as much or just about the money or the idea. Everybody thinks, oh, I've got this idea. Well, don't think you're the only one that has that idea. A lot of people probably have that idea. It's about, do you have the team and the ability to execute that idea and scale it?
Gotcha.
So that was, great learning, learned a lot from that business.
Awesome.
And still have a lot of those contacts to this day.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Has that, how would you say that affected your business world today?
It's taught me a lot about, investing is mostly when I got into doing real estate here in this market. It's really an investment market here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much like people that sell Atlanta and most, other Atlanta or other cities.
Yeah. Primary residence.
Yeah. It's really people here often are looking at it as part of their portfolio. And a lot of the investments here have, an income stream, through rentals and things like that. So it definitely, helped me learn a lot about, investing, cycles, especially with rental properties, looking at projections versus actuals. You always see that with startup companies, the projections just always look incredible.
Yeah.
projections are really easy.
Well, I can write a pro forma for anything.
Yeah.
Make it look great.
So learned a lot, really did.
Okay.
I would say, George, the biggest thing that I learned with Webbridge was just the risk of being so focused on one sector, the internet sector, and something that was really very high risk, bubble that ultimately burst. And
look at AI today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much money's being poured into it. I definitely think there was value there for sure, but it's, I know it's different, but at the same time, it's still tech, and it's people heavily focused in it today. I mean, I had a guy in here earlier who started up an AI company. It's intriguing. I don't know if I would necessarily dump a ton of money into it because that's not my wheelhouse. And there's people out there that are smarter than me, but, it's interesting take that your company plunged into .com internet, period. Yeah. That's it. So you didn't really have any diversity in your portfolio?
No. And also, we really didn't have a lot of expertise in it either. We were trying to go out and,
it's an honest answer,
and find the people that did.
Yeah.
That was our goal. But, ultimately what I saw, the companies were successful in tech and in the internet are the ones that were actually the founders or co-founders were programmers, developers, they
knew the world.
They knew the world. So it was a great experience. And, I really feel like, I learned a lot about investing, just from being with those big investment firms, but with my own firm over the years that has helped tremendously in my, real estate world and just my own personal world.
Yeah. So where'd you go from the .com bubble burst after 2000?
So after that, I went to Safety, which was, I was able to get a great job with Bell South,
okay,
Fortune 100 company. They actually had an internet division doing a lot in, data centers and wireless and things like that. So I was able to get, a good job, business development type job with them.
Okay.
And that was just fantastic.
So you went from investing in the internet to selling it.
Yes.
Just kind of.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And Bell South was a great company. Eventually acquired by AT&T. But
I had Bell South back in Memphis.
Yep.
Where I was growing up. So how long did you do that?
Oh, I was there, 5+ years, something like that. And then,
do you enjoy it?
I did. It was just incredible. I mean, it was an amazing experience.
How hard was it selling that back then?
I mean, it was hard. I mean, it definitely was, it was a challenge, because
there's some people that didn't have access. It's not, we look at our world today. You pick this stupid thing up and you're connected wherever.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I remember
hard.
I had to get a tunnel dug in Grayton Beach for our first office out here in 2004.
Yeah.
So,
we were selling data center space and, higher bandwidth connectivity and things like that. So it was hard, but I would say, Bell South definitely had a good network. So it made it easier.
Yeah.
But it was a good, really good experience. Great people. That's ultimately how I met my wife, Christina, through that experience. So
was she work there?
Great. No, but her college roommate's mom was my boss.
Okay.
Ultimate boss there. Yeah, it was over one of the.
So wife number one didn't work out somewhere along that way. No. Was it the .com?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it the business?
It was. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now did you have some kids out of the first one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All good there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So, all right, you're selling data center and internet and you meet your now wife through your boss.
Yeah.
Intriguing. All right. What did we do after that?
Well, we were in Atlanta, worked for Bell South, ended up actually getting involved with a startup. I couldn't help but go back to startup. I went to a startup internet company, a wireless internet company called Clearwire. Little more funding than some of the things I did when I was with WebBridge. It was Craig McCall, who was a multi-billionaire, funded that company.
Okay.
So I got to get involved with them early on and really helped launch that with my friend David Barnett.
Were they
across the country?
Was it Cell?
It was basically the first high-speed wireless internet provider. So they had like the little sticks that you'd put into your laptop, and the sticks, and then the modems. So they were the first. I guess then it was like, what was it, 2G or something like that, wireless. So yeah, they were out ahead of that, with that. So what we did was went and launched the country for within the distribution channel for Clearwire.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So what were you selling?
The ultimate product was the internet. It was just an internet, high speed internet service.
So you're selling the service.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
What I was doing really, with the folks I was working with, though, was we were putting together the distribution, the sales force.
Okay.
That sold the product out in these cities.
Got it.
In malls.
Manager, upper executive level.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that, but yeah, I was higher. I don't know, but I
was trying to give you a bigger title, George. Take it.
I try not to anymore. But it.
I don't put much weight in titles either.
Yeah, but it was in malls and stuff like that. They were in malls selling there and selling through distributors, door to door, and all that. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it was great.
So how long that last?
That was about a year. And ultimately they ended up selling that company to Sprint. So that, and, so that was kind of what, when that happened, I was kind of essentially out of a job looking for what to do.
Why? Why'd they get rid of you?
They sold.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was over, it was,
party's over.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens all the time.
Well, I got that. I realize that, but just cause they sell doesn't mean they just automatically get rid of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It just didn't really have the position anymore. They kind of sold the company and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So where were we at timeline wise?
That would have been like 2008.
Okay.
Right
so
in there, yeah.
right in the middle of the downturn.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Exactly.
So where'd you, you're still in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Still in Atlanta.
Where'd you go from there?
Ended up coming down here.
How did you make it down, or how did you make your way down here? What brought you here?
We ended up just moving here because we, had friends here, and just wanted to get down here. Always wanted to get back. That's what I was saying. Circle back, wanted to get back to the coast.
Well, all of Atlanta vacations here anyway, so you just made it permanent?
Didn't really have anything holding me to Atlanta. Like I said, was out of a job at that point and was going to probably find another job there, and felt like if we didn't leave, we'd just be there. And I saw it kind of as an opportunity to get back to my roots to the Gulf Coast.
So 2009, you packed it up, moved here.
Yeah, it was a little later, actually than that, but it was like 2011. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and we went and spent a few years over in Chattanooga, where my older sons were living, and stayed there. Yeah. And, we're over there for a few years, and then came down here.
What were you doing there?
Doing actually a podcast. That's what I was doing. Yeah, I started.
Why the hell did you stick with that, man?
I was too early to that. That was called.
Jeez, Rogan started his at 9. Look where he's at, John.
Exactly.
I think that's right. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was about the same time. Yeah, it started. It's called Small Business Roundtable.
Okay. Where'd you even hear about a podcast? Or like, how I'm just curious how it even came about.
I don't even know, but I just Yeah, I just said, this is what I'm going to do. You know,
Okay.
there were a few of them around, and started SBR, is what it was called.
Okay.
And did that at the camp house. It was a space kind of like this, but it was a coffee shop in Chattanooga.
Okay.
And what I did was essentially I interviewed entrepreneurs and said, you know, because Chattanooga really has a big entrepreneur startup scene there.
Really?
And oh, absolutely. A lot of great companies have been started out of Chattanooga, a lot of wealth there. And
I
so
knew about the
we,
wealth. I didn't know about the kind of
yeah.
startup thing. That's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, a ton. Especially for a city that size, you
Yeah.
know. And they have incredible internet fiber optic there. We're real early with that.
Okay.
So did that. Just interviewed, gosh, I mean, probably 50 plus entrepreneurs there on that show, SBR.
How'd you get them in?
Man, I'm a networker. I pick up the phone and call.
Just call?
I've always called people, you know. So just did that, or went to, events.
Yeah.
I've always been good at meeting people, networking.
Most people
Getting to
come
know
talk,
people.
have a conversation with you and talk
Yeah.
about themselves and, their success, especially
Yeah.
the ones that I think want to share. I think that's
Yeah.
cool.
It was very much like what you're doing. I mean, just getting people in, and, most I find entrepreneurs, they like to tell their story. They like to talk, so.
Hey, if one person listens to this and gets some form of inspiration for business or real estate or whatever it is,
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I've done a good job.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean this podcast with you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why'd you stop?
Ultimately we were in Chattanooga. I just think my wife didn't really like it there. She wanted to be honest,
Yeah,
and, and we had the opportunity to move down here, and it worked out. I mean, it was great. We wanted to be near the water. I like Chattanooga. I thought it was a great city. Had a lot of good time there. Yeah.
But it's
Learned
way
a
different
lot.
than here.
Yep. Learned a lot, met a lot of great people, still connected a lot of those folks.
Where was your wife
come
originally
down
from?
here. She's from Washington State. Yeah, she's from up there. So she always wanted to live.
That's why she wanted to get out of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
It's probably a reminder. Yeah. That's the only place in Tennessee that made a reminder of that area.
She's from a little different part of Washington State, though. I will say it's not what you think of. It's more kind of country.
So she's the part that wanted to secede into Idaho.
Probably.
You know about that?
Yeah. They're conservative.
That's the eastern part of the state. They were trying to become. There literally was a petition for them to try to become part of Idaho.
Yeah, she's from there. Yeah, so
they were the crazies on the West Coast. So they were sick of them.
Yeah.
So all right, you're down here, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a plan?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I got down here. I really didn't. I continued the podcast, so I had that going down here.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I kept it going down here, and did it for a little while, but ultimately it was just, back then, at least there just wasn't a lot of revenue to do that as a job to really make a living back then. It just wasn't there. From just that, you could do it kind of more as something on the side. So I was looking for something. These things are really
what made them, podcasts more famous. I mean, they grew, of course.
Yeah.
I think there's multiple factors. Well, they're much bigger now. But,
yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. So
you were trying to make a living from it.
I was trying to make a living. I was down here. It's not an inexpensive place to live, and people
were you actually making money?
I was making some. I had sponsors. I had sponsors that.
Damn, Abby, I should get a sponsor.
Yeah, you can get
got a sponsor.
I mean, that's actually the way to do it. I had a sponsor. Morgan Keegan out of Memphis was one of my.
Really?
You would know them. Brokerage firm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good to me. But I had sponsors.
Okay.
But it was, I've got kids. I've got.
Wasn't paying the bills.
So I kind of was like, I need a job. And then, I was very blessed that I went to an event, a church event, saw Price Rayner, who's still one of my good friends, and was just kind of telling him, like, hey, I'm kind of doing this podcast, but really looking for something, and he said,
Did you
wait,
know Price well at the
no,
time, or just
no,
gotcha?
I
Okay,
didn't.
awesome, great dude, by the way.
Yeah, one of my good friends, and he just said, hey, why don't you come work for us? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, did he know what your
Yeah,
background at that
he
point? I
did.
mean, you
Yeah,
got
he
20
did.
years in sales at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. So I did. I went to work for Beach Properties of Florida.
Did you
And
start out on a team or independent,
well,
or
what I did actually is I started out. They had what was called Beach Rentals of Florida.
okay?
So my first foray into real estate was I was charged with running their vacation rental company.
Oh, I didn't know
They had a
that.
rental company, yeah, with maybe about it was maybe about 80 properties. So it was a decent sized rental company that I was thrown in to run that kind of like a life learning there.
Yeah,
But it was good. I learned a lot. Really got to get some good experience there.
selling wireless internet to
Yeah.
to managing a bunch of homeowners and
Yeah.
renters. God bless you.
Yeah. And they ultimately decided shortly after that, they didn't want to be in that, and they sold that business.
Yeah.
So fortunately they didn't fire me like like that Clearwire, or I was let go, but yeah.
Gotcha. So how did you stumble into the sales side of life?
Well, I went to work with them.
Okay, gotcha. So they just brought you over?
Yeah.
Nice.
I went to work with Price, John David, and Hunter as their buyer's agent. So yeah.
Do they give you a mentorship? Did they have any programs or anything?
Yeah, it was good.
I know
I was
for me that
mentored.
sounds like redundant as hell, but
No.
it was for for the listeners out there.
Yeah.
Since I know the story, but
No, they did. I was mentored.
I did not know you worked for the vacation rental company.
Yeah, that's how I started. It was
When did we get connected? Because it's a funny story. When your brother met my dad in a bar?
Yes.
In New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right?
And we got connected through that. He met George Sr. over there.
Because your brother was cheering for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
My dad was LSU.
Yeah.
And your brother was kind of like an oddball because they were in New Orleans and it was LSU, maybe LSU Ole Miss. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember, and they're like, "Oh, you got to meet my brother. He's a realtor over there."
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So we met through that, through my brother, and also through Jan Morris.
Yeah.
I
remember that part of it.
Yeah, she came to Beach Properties of Florida and was there doing a kind of a realtor thing, and met her, really liked her, and yeah.
Rest is history, right?
Yeah.
So you started out as a buyer's agent. At what point did you decide, or what convinced you could go out on your own?
Well, I was selling a lot of real estate, and I think that's the I was really being mentored greatly by those guys. I just tell them all the time, they really blessed me greatly.
Yeah.
Teaching me, giving me great opportunities to get in open houses. But I did that for a few years, really, at least 2.
Did you do any development type work with them?
No.
Okay.
No, but
I don't mean development. I mean the sales side, like on-site stuff.
No, not really. I mean, I did not the new homes that they do.
Yeah.
But we were doing some, with some new properties like in Seagrove with the Viridian. I was involved with that project with them. But really it was just to answer your question. When you're a buyer's agent, you typically have a lower split because you're getting mentored.
Yeah.
You have leads and things that are helping you. And if you start selling a lot of real estate, which I did, it can get to be kind of painful. You're like, wow, this is, you're selling a lot.
Giving up.
Like, how do you really know? Like when do you want to go out on your own? But I really, stayed with them a pretty good while, and really learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was totally a great thing. Very appreciative.
Worth it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when did you go out?
It's probably like a couple years after being on with them, like 2000, maybe 15, something
Okay.
like that, 14, 15.
Did you stay with Berkshire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with them for a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what did that company bring to the table that maybe others didn't?
I'd say they had a good brand. I mean, I think Berkshire has a good brand, really good leadership.
Was it Berkshire?
Yeah, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
Well, no, but was it when you started? Was it Berkshire?
No, it was Beach Properties in
Yeah.
Florida.
Okay. All right.
And they ended up becoming a Berkshire franchise.
Right.
And then they ended up selling to Berkshire and being a Berkshire-owned company.
Yeah.
But
Good for them.
yeah, but really learned a lot from them. Just think very highly of them, and they had great brand, but really a lot of good sales mentoring.
Yep.
Learning from them. Yeah.
So you're rocking and rolling through the teens.
Yeah.
Got a big old family. How'd you navigate COVID?
Well, that was a scary time, because we didn't really know if we were going to be able to sell, anything. And, it was scary, really just not knowing, are we as real estate agents going to be able to make any money?
Yeah.
So,
You had 4 kids or 4 more kids at this time?
Yeah. And it was a little rocky for a while, cause we weren't selling anything for a few months there. But then, Florida opened up which was great. And
thank you, Governor DeSantis.
Yeah. Amen to that. And just really business really, really took off. It turned out to be a lot of people moving here. And what I would really say, with COVID and after, what changed our market here on the Emerald Coast was it went really from just pretty much a pure investment market to really much more of a permanent home and second home market. And that was really a big change. And it was really good for the overall market.
Yeah, it's brought a ton of people here with families. I think it has been good for the area overall. Did you have clients that just packed up and moved here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Well, I had multiple families just said, screw it, I'm leaving Atlanta. And they had a second home here already. And they just I know 2 particularly, the wives just said, we'll be at the beach. And the husband, I guess, was told to work it out.
Yeah. A lot of people did that, George. They just packed up and moved because they didn't have, they didn't have to go to the office. You could work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And
create an interesting environment. But we were also open. You could go to the beach. You could go outside. There wasn't this craziness around of you can't go to a park. Yeah. Which is so dumb in retrospect.
No, it really was. I mean,
so did you have a team by then? Like 20, 21?
Yeah, I did. I did have a team. And, I always, for me, I mean, I had a team. I think I had maybe would be like 6 or 7 people, something like that. But for the most part, my teams have been a little smaller, 2 to 4 people. I really don't. I like mentoring people, but I've got enough kids. So I don't want to have a big team.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So at what point did you make a change, brokerage wise?
I went over to work with Blake Marar, Chris, those guys at Scenic Sotheby's. And I think that was like around 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Why the change then?
I really wanted to learn from them. I just think they're really great guys. And, I just thought, 1, they have a great brand. 2, they're just real pros. And I'd learned so much from John David Hunter and Price. I was like, man, go be able to learn with, from Blake and Chris and Wes. So it was really awesome, just being able to learn from them. Yeah. Learned a lot.
It's a good company. So you were with them till when?
Let's see. Then I went back to Berkshire Hathaway, PenFed, and that was like 2020.
Why that change?
I just, once again, I think I wanted to learn.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to work with Royce.
Mm-hmm.
Royce is a good friend, and Chris Sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like it was a really good move for me and my family. And once again, getting to learn from two other real pros, that's anytime that if I've made a move, it's always been, how can I learn and grow?
Yeah.
It wasn't anything wrong or bad with where I was
Sure.
at all,
I'm
but it
just
was just
curious
more
why the motivation.
yeah, it was really just to work with those guys and learn and grow. And a little bit, to be honest, I know this, it was to get a little closer back to where I was living. I have a lot of logistics going on with my life. And
It's
they
very
had,
eloquent.
yeah, and
You
they
mean
had,
moving humans around the
yeah,
panhandle?
it really was. And it
Yeah.
was a lot. And they had a really
You and
good,
I had this conversation.
spot for me
Yeah.
right there. It was close to where we're living. So,
Yeah. Well, you got 4 kids. You got to bus them around and help out,
yeah.
I get it. I only have 2. Okay. So you worked at PenFed for a while, and then, most recently made a change to a different brokerage.
Yes.
What was that one? Is it
Yes.
the same answer?
Yeah, somewhat, because it's Nathan Abbott,
Yeah.
who's a good friend, and just also a pro.
Yeah.
Another person I'm learning a lot from, and also Mark and Susan Brimmer, working alongside them. I love those great people. But no, it was really more than that. With EXP, to me, I really felt like a lot of where real estate is going is what I'm seeing in the model is it is going more cloud based, more online.
Yeah.
And,
because that model is different than the 3 previous companies you were with, right?
Yeah. And
can you share a little bit of the difference from your perspective?
well, I mean, the model is that they really don't put a lot into like corporate offices, and all the infrastructure of that. It's really it's more, the motto of the company is where the pros go to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's really highly built around teaching, training, growing really with the pros, even, here in the US, but also internationally.
Mm-hmm.
So I really saw it as, it's a cloud-based company, but we all get together and collaborate a lot with other pro realtors, around.
Not just locally or across country.
Yeah. And I really like too, that it allows me the ability to be able to build out an organization, a team that's not only here locally, but in the US and around the world, to where if, someone sells a property like over in France, if I have someone on my team over there, I can be a part of that. So I'd never really seen
What do you mean?
that.
So you're talking about, I call it the multi-level marketing part of it. Is that right?
It is
what you're
but
saying?
it is network marketing, but it's all based on real estate being sold.
Right.
So
it's when you say your team, that's
it's a
somebody you
downline.
signed up?
Yeah, it's a downline or
Okay.
someone in my organizations. So I might have somebody in Texas, which I do, and that person might sign somebody up in Texas. It signs somebody up in Paris, and then that person in Paris, sells a property, and so there's a revenue share on that. It's really, it's called revenue share. But
is that one of the factors you went to EXP for?
Yeah, I love
some
it.
people, I've talked to other people who, it's there, but I don't really mess with it. Do you put a lot of effort into it?
It just comes naturally, with me, because I'm a networker.
Right.
So I meet people everywhere I go. So it comes naturally. And just to me, that's all passive revenue, income.
Well, I've been told, I have not interviewed or met anybody that has made that their model, but there are some people, I guess, out there, EXP, and what is the other one?
There's Real, and
Real is the other one. That
a couple others, yeah.
Where their model is, they may sell a few things, but getting people to sign up under them to get the passive revenue.
That is a few people that really have built large organizations, that's all they do now because they don't have time. You have such a big organization to sell anymore. But the whole model with the cloud-based brokerages that have the downline that I say is different than like what people call multi-level marketing type companies is most of those companies
you want to call it a pyramid scheme?
Yeah, whatever. But I'm just saying those companies are mostly, George, based on self-consumption. Like you've got to have your family and other families consuming those products. And a lot of it is self-consumption. What I do like about the real estate model is the only way that it works is if homes are being sold.
Yeah.
It doesn't work if you're not selling real estate, the model doesn't work. So I do like that. I mean, mainly it's not the primary reason that I got into EXP. It's more about the growth and the coaching and the collaborating and that it's global. But just naturally, you're going to meet people in life. You're going to connect with other agents. And if they come alongside you in your organization, you can also build some nice passive income. Retirement income is really what it is.
Yeah. So do you feel EXP does a better job, maybe where it's encouraging the agents to connect across the entire platform, or do they make it easier?
I think they just teach you how to do it better and make it easier, and show you how to connect and kind of coach you on that and provide a lot of training and coaching opportunities that you can invite people to, where they can really see the light bulb goes off, because I do believe our traditional real estate brokerage model, of having these offices and these franchise offices, I do believe that's kind of like going the way of Blockbuster, and the model of EXP, is more the Netflix. I do think that's the future of real estate. But it's still sales. You got to sell. That's not going to be done over the cloud. You got to have people that know how to sell, but we're just doing it differently now.
Yeah, I don't, and to my opinion, and I know there's some that'll disagree with this, but I don't think you can ever take the personal relationship out of real estate because it's too personal of a purchase, even an investment.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy a house right here in Rosemary and rent it and only come here, 2, 3, 4 weeks a year, that's still your house, your design, your roof, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying it hasn't happened and can't happen, but in 21, I'm sure you probably showed a house via FaceTime or something because all that craziness going on. And people were just buying houses because it was the only one there and there's 10 other offers and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's healthy either.
No.
But I don't think you'll ever be able to just, the Zillows of the world, you just like click on something and buy it and be done with it. Not to say there's not a small demographic that may be okay with that, but I don't think the younger generation comes up and really learns how to buy real estate. They still want to know exactly what the countertops, the layout, all those little factors that go into the personal purchase that you're going to be able to take a person or human out of it.
No, I don't think so. It is very personal, and it's very hard to get things from contract to close. And I often say, like, as a real estate agent, sometimes I think it'd be better for me to like use another agent to sell my own house, because it is
probably
personal.
Not. Yeah, it's personal.
I've seen some agents that do that, and I'm like, that makes sense because it's hard to sell your own property.
You're immediately biased.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like someone offends your countertops. You're like, well, wait a second, I picked those out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would be in your model, your mind, the John Martin team, what is your advantage in selling real estate?
I would say it's high level of service, responsiveness, being highly resourceful.
What do you mean by that last comment?
Well, just people are here. People only have so much time, when they're here in life in general, it's all we have is time. But it's just, and we find ways to get people in properties and do innovative things to try to get transactions under contract and done and help serve the customer.
Mm-hmm.
We're always thinking out of the box. What can we do to be highly resourceful in this situation to meet their needs? I mean, what we do it's all about service. We're in the service business, so that is our focus. But we want to be as resourceful as we can to help those people, because a lot of people are only here in this market for a short amount of time, and they've only got so much time to see properties and do all the things that they do. So we're always thinking, how can we be resourceful?
You got an example of something that you've been resourceful with?
I mean, a lot of it, George.
How do you create more time,
I will
John?
tell you. No, I mean, it's a lot of it is people are in properties. They're hard to see.
Yeah.
So we have to be resourceful in getting people that are in those properties to leave. So we'll
you have a renter,
renters, things like that, or just people, and we'll go and say, hey,
what do you do?
Here you go. Here's either
buy them lunch or something.
Give them cash. Give them, whatever they need. Whatever. I mean, here's $100, whatever. We
get out for an hour. Yeah.
But it's being resourceful. I mean, we think out of the box because ultimately these people need to see the property.
Yeah.
Buy it. Most people still
it goes back to my personal part. They want to look at it. They want to put their hands on it and feel it.
We're highly resourceful in getting them in that property in the period that they're here.
Makes sense.
And a lot of times it's juggling a lot of things of people being in there. So we go the extra mile to do what it takes to get them in there to see the property.
So you're not relying on Saturday from 10 to 2 to be able to see the property. You try to be a little more resourceful and maybe
we can be.
Sneak in there on a Wednesday.
Yeah, whatever it takes. I mean, that's just one example that we do.
That's good though. A lot of people that haven't bought here or are not a realtor here or familiar with the area don't think of it that way. Like, oh, I see this property on, Zillow, whatever it is. And hey, John, I want to come see it now. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. As I was coming over here to meet you, I've got customers at they have a Gulfront condo in Seagrove. They're there. They're supposed to be having friends coming over. Another realtor called me and said, hey, I've got a buyer that's here, wants to see this property, and they're going to leave today. They're going to lunch. We need to see it today, now. And I thought it was probably open, and I was sending codes and everything. And then the seller comes to me and says, no, we're here. We've got friends here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I was able to be resourceful and coordinate that, get them in here in the property to see it very quickly. And,
what'd you do?
We'll know when I get out of here what happened, but hopefully it was a successful showing.
Well, I know you've been so respectful, not looked at your phone. That's probably hard for you as a realtor, especially when you got a deal going on.
Yeah.
What'd you give them?
Didn't give them anything in this case. Just basically they, just kind of worked it out to where the sellers were willing to leave. The buyers are willing, going to get in there. It's going to be a mess, but it's going to happen. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is a lot of people, you've got to be resourceful and that's a short time period to get them in, see the property. And we've got to get people, one of the biggest parts is we've got to get people in properties, get the properties shown.
Yeah.
That's, to getting offers and getting properties closed.
What's one of the biggest problems you've ever had with a client or closing or the process?
Gosh.
From your perspective?
Biggest problems. Probably I would say the biggest problem we run into is when something doesn't appraise. It's good. It's almost impossible. I don't think I've ever seen to get those deals to work, because ultimately what happens is the agents are always saying, well, we had a bad appraisal. Let's get it reappraised.
Yeah.
Ultimately the buyer's going to have to bring more money to the table, and and in their mind, it's almost impossible to
No, it's got to be an
overturn
emotional
that.
buy. If
Yeah.
you're gonna take that leap, you're paying, probably in your mind, you're paying, what you feel is the value, and then it doesn't appraise, and then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it's usually a deal killer. I can see that.
It's
Funny. That's the first time that's been mentioned on here, which I'm surprised,
yeah.
because
It
doesn't happen often down here, at least that I
it's
see.
happened more the last few years for sure.
Since 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
could see
happened.
that.
And then another thing that's kind of interesting with that is when the last few years, when they do appraise, they appraise right about at the sales price. You very rarely see them appraising for way more.
Oh yeah, you're not going to do not in this market.
No.
I think the appraiser's going to cover their ass,
Yeah,
for lack of better
exactly.
terms. I mean, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
but
Not right now. So, what do you feel about, let's just say, our market in general? Let's call it South Walton or the Panhandle for the next 5 years.
It's a good question. I mean, I think we've got a lot going for us, and that we've got, good, I think, government leadership, good tax laws here, even maybe going to get even better with that, with some of the things
Oh yeah,
coming.
I've heard all the rumblings of the
Yeah.
different tax things.
So I feel like with that, I think we're going to have more people move here. Supply demand, which is good because we're less dependent just being on a vacation rental investment market.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. The only thing that has concerned me is just we've had a lot of luxury inventory. There's still a lot of inventory in the 3+ million, 3 to 10 million, which is huge, numbers for most people around the country. But we've just had a lot of that inventory that we still have to absorb. So that inventory is going to have to get, I think, it's going to have to get priced right to sell. It's just not selling.
Why do you think that is? People won't come off?
It's because what we had is after the market, topped in 22, people got it in their mind that that's what their property was worth, and they won't come off of it. They won't come off of it, and now they're kind of having to chase it down.
Yeah.
To get it sold.
Well, and I think when you're, not all, but many of those cases, that level may or may not have a mortgage, and they're probably not underwater, and they probably don't have to sell it.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen here recently, not a bunch, but very specific. You have one person in a neighborhood that has to, so then your bar's set. And then that, to me, would give you your ability to go talk to your client and say, look, here's your comp. Now, they still may say, no, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. But if some kind of floor is set, you just have to have that trigger in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And that can be very neighborhood by neighborhood. It may take that. But because of the level of wealth that is associated with that price range, you may have a husband that wants to get rid of it, and the wife's like, hell no. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. Because they don't have to. Yeah. I think that's somewhat of a factor to that. I mean, I know the inventory's there and it's heavier on the supply side. I think demand's out there, but that buyer doesn't want to make the mistake either.
Exactly.
Of paying
the buyers,
$1 million over what it's really worth.
And the buyers have seen, the prices come down so much, and the buyers are thinking, well, where is the bottom?
Yeah.
So the buyers don't want to, like you said,
I'm going to wait 2 more months. It's going to come down 10 more %.
So that's been the case. We've kind of seen more stability, I would say, in that like 500,000 to 1.5 market for the overall. But even that market has been challenging the last few years. But it's getting better, and I think that we're definitely seeing that more and more closings, and I think with people, continuing to move to Florida, and then we here being in Walton County, the Emerald Coast, we don't have anywhere else. There's no more land. There's nowhere else to build. We've got so much state forest, and so it's just a supply demand. I think once we absorb some of this inventory, I think we're going to see a good solid market over the next 5 years.
Yeah, and look, 25 was better than 24. 26 is looking better than 25. And you mentioned it, that, the government, however you want to look at it, I'll say government factors of the business friendly, tax friendly environment that we have here. And some of these morons in other states, that they keep just going down a direction that people are leaving. Yeah. I mean, South Florida's hugely benefited.
Yeah.
I read an article this morning, about billionaires coming in and starting schools in South Florida because they weren't good enough, and they're just popping them up, and they moved from the two I was reading were both from California.
South Florida has become the new Wall Street.
Yeah.
It really has. All the big hedge fund managers, for the most part, have moved from New York down to South Florida.
It's somewhat of a tax shelter. I mean, if it's West Coast or left coast, it's New York City, and the state there isn't much better for tax wise, and here it's great.
Yeah.
I just hope I do think the supply will get absorbed. We're still in a pretty special part because Florida's like 4 states in one. South Florida's like a different world. You have Central Florida and East, and then we're over here in Lower Alabama, and I like it. That you can't compare the rest of Florida to our beach.
No,
that's not going anywhere.
This is the best place, and really, I don't do a whole lot of social media, but when I do, usually I go out and I take videos of walking on the beach and just showing the beach and our water here and our sand. I just feel like nobody wants to see me. I'm like, let's show them this. This is what you get.
Don't sell yourself short, John. Come on. Speaking of, what does the future hold next 5 years for John Martin?
I don't know. Just continuing to really, put time into my family. My relationship with God's very important.
Mm-hmm.
I have a podcast, Road to Redemption, that I do.
Say that again. So your podcast is
Road to Redemption.
Love it.
So do that. We do that on Friday. We do 3 or 4 a week. Well,
what's your format? What is it? I know it's kind of Christianity based, but
it's really it's about, the whole podcast is giving people a hope. In a tough world out there for a lot of folks, giving people hope through pursuing a personal relationship with God, and really making yourself vulnerable. We're all going through a lot.
Sure.
And the only one that we can really rely on is God. People are going to let us down. Life is short. And we're just trying to give people hope through a personal relationship with God. So what we really do, we're not tied to any denomination or anything like that. We just tell people on the show is just start reading the Bible, get into a Christ-centered church, and get into a small group. Those are our 3 takeaways.
Okay. What made you get back into the podcasting?
Really just felt passionate about giving people hope. I mean, like I'm seeing that a lot, through my own faith. My wife, went through stage 4 cancer, really saw God bring her through that. She's healthy and she's with us. So I really kind of realized, all this business stuff and stuff, it's great, but we can't take the money with us.
Right.
Life's short, and let's, God wants us to have a fruitful life. He wants us to enjoy life. It's fine. Have a good life, but we need to have, trust and faith, trust and faith. That's really what I see out there the most, is we have a lot of fear in the world. But ultimately, if we have more faith, our more faith, our fear goes down. So
Yeah.
just trying to point people into faith through a relationship
I love that.
with Jesus.
It's awesome you're doing that. And the sad part is you call it what it is. Money is driving the fear of what a lot of the narrative is out there. And I applaud you for what you're doing and trying to bring people some hope in a world where there's just so much noise. And, is there challenges? Yeah. But is it that bad? No. And there's just, I don't think today we point out, the good things. Everybody focus, the national media especially, and go down this rabbit hole, but it's just negative. Yeah. Everything's negative. You can't, I can come up with, pretty outspoken about what I believe. I can come up with, a few good things, many good things that someone on the other side of the aisle may have done. But today it's like, oh shit, you can't talk about that.
And one of the things, Jordan, we've talked about a lot on our show is about unity, and peace, really, that God wants us to stop fighting with each other and come really together in unity, forgiveness, things like that, just to.
We don't have to agree on everything, but there is many things we can agree on. And I think the money drives both sides. A fringe of both sides. It's money. And this 85% in between can agree on probably 85% of the stuff. Yeah. And these others just be quiet. So applaud to you.
Yeah, it's been good.
Keep up the good work, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Where can people find you?
John Martin Group, is what, we're out there on all the social media. You can find us under John Martin Group, or as I said, our Road to Redemption podcast. That's where we are.
Go check out John's podcast right after you listen to this one. I appreciate you being on here.
That was awesome, George.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.